But IPAs are fine. Like we love IPAs, just I don't love them in my mouth. I love them in your guys' mouth.
Boost, Booze, and Barbecue. Hello and welcome to Boost, Booze, and Barbecue. This is Andy, and Coy is going to be on the show today. We're doing this a little bit out of order because a few months back, Coy and I went to this event at Mazama Brewing here in Corvallis called the Dark Days Beer Festival. It's all winter beers, so it's big, bold, dark, funky, just really, really interesting stuff. And when we first got there, we started walking around. We ended up running into the head brewer at Mazama, Ryan McVeigh. And Ryan was kind enough to reach back out to us after that event, and I was actually able to record with him earlier this week. That episode is going to be released over at boostboozebbq.com/pardonmyfork, and of course under Pardon My Fork on any of the podcast apps that you guys play through. And I just felt like, you know what better way to preface that than to have that episode that Coy and I recorded right after the event and put it up on 3BQ. So that's what we're doing today, you guys. I went back through, made sure that we were, staying on topic. We get a little bit rambly because, obviously we were just coming back from a big beer event, but it's a really fun time. Really enjoyed recording this episode, and I really actually enjoyed editing it down as well. It's just a lot of fun to listen to. So I hope you guys really enjoy it. Before we get into that, though, I have a little bit of business. We are doing a t-shirt giveaway with reviews on iTunes. So you're going to hear about it at the end of the episode. But I'm also letting you know now, if you go out and you rate and review our show on iTunes, you will automatically be entered into a t-shirt win. We're going to do 4 episodes, and at the 5th episode, as a matter of fact, we are going to announce a name. And that name just needs to email us, and we will be sending them out a free t-shirt. We've decided that we're going to start doing this once a month, and so I really do encourage you guys to go out there. You're going to help us a lot by throwing some likes and reviews and comments our way, and we in turn are going to be able to help you out because, well, to be honest, we don't have that many reviews on iTunes right now, so your likelihood of winning is very, very high. So head on out there, do that, help yourself. It's a real easy thing. You may end up being just one of a few people to rate and review the podcast this month, and that really just ups your chances. So please go out and do that. Help us to help you get a t-shirt. Anyways, on to the show, and I hope you guys enjoy it. Joining me today in second chair is everyone's favorite. You know him, you love him. Everyone's been asking for him to come back. Everybody's saying, where is he? Where's Coy? I don't understand. Why did he go? Where is he? We want him back. That's all I've been hearing. Well, ladies and gentlemen, tonight, the man himself is back. Coyson Masterson, how are you doing?
Good, Andy. Good. It feels good to be wanted, I have to admit.
Oh, yes. Yes. And not only are you wanted, I busted out the big guns. I bought a pumpkin beer just for you, my friend.
You know I love pumpkin spice.
Oh, pumpkin spice is the way that you roll. And, of course, this Rogue Pumpkin Ale is right up your alley, I think.
Yeah, we've already poured it because we couldn't wait for the mics to heat up.
Yeah.
And it is delicious. I've had a pumpkin cider that I would consider better, but as far as pumpkin beers go, this is number one. It's good.
Now, it doesn't have too much of a pumpkin flavor, but it has all of the pumpkin spice, right?
It has just a touch of pumpkin flavor, but has all the spicy goodness that it needs to have.
Because that's the thing about Coy. He's not going to want to drink beer out of a gourd. That's not his style. But
I would do that, though. That would be awesome.
Well, yeah, but it can't be pumpkin beer that's inside of a gourd. It has to be pumpkin spice beer that's inside of a gourd.
Yeah. I would like to do that just to display my toxic masculinity to everybody. like, I am man, watch me drink from this gourd.
Yeah, it's going to have to be a long gourd.
Yeah, a very phallic gourd for sure.
Yeah, exactly. A phallic gourd that you're drinking from.
Yeah.
You know what? That might not be toxic masculinity. That might be, well, taken some other way.
Yeah. Tomato. potato fire truck, whatever.
Anyways, we've had a really incredible day. I'm just going to put it that way. I started my day off with the Winter Rod and Speed Show at the Albany Fairgrounds. Tons of photos. They're all up at boostboostbbq.com underneath this episode. They're going to be up on Facebook and Instagram as well. But lots of cool stuff out there that I saw. Lots and lots of cool stuff. Willie's Jeep that was restored. It was beautiful. A couple of MGs over there. There was a Subaru 360 micro truck that was converted into a tow truck. Very cool stuff. I got lots of photos of all that. And of course, I ran into our friend Mike White from Best Damn Barbecue Sauce, got some photos, tasted some of his new sauces. They were shockingly good. He's got some amazing stuff on the horizon. He made a sriracha garlic koi. I wish you were there to try it. It was incredible, man.
Wait, he brought it with him to the car show?
Yeah. He brought these sample bottles of his next line of sauces for people to try.
Did he have like a stand there or something?
Yeah, he had a stand. He was, he was selling sauces like crazy.
Oh, I assumed that he was just like rolling, just out looking at cars, and you walked up to him and he was like, "Oh, check this out," and just reaches in his coat, pulls out a bottle of barbecue sauce, like, "Stick your finger out, you're going to try a dollop of this shit."
That would be incredible. Let's be honest.
No, that would be one of my finest hours to see that happen. Like, it would go down, and like at my funeral, I would want that story brought up.
You know what? I wish it had happened that way. No, Mike had a booth set up and he was tasting his sauces, and it was actually a lot of fun to watch because while I was standing there talking to him, obviously as people were walking up, he would shift his attention over and help them, and then we'd go back to talking about what we were talking about. But just in the amount of time that I was sitting there and talking with him, he sold, I don't even know, 9, 10, 11 bottles. Like, it was just going off the shelves. People love that stuff.
Wow.
And it's not too much of a surprise because his Sweet Lady Love has won a couple of awards. His Hot Damn That's Hot has won an award. It's some Boston sauce. I'll have to link the awards that he's won underneath of the episode, but it's pretty remarkable stuff.
Yeah, I actually haven't tried any of his yet, but I have heard it's very good. He won a number 1 award, didn't he?
Oh yeah, he's got a couple of gold medals underneath of his belt. I'm going to have to get you like a sampler pack, like a gift pack, so that you can try these sauces. I think you're really going to like them.
No, everybody likes them. I'm sure it's a no-brainer.
I mean, you like the spicy, right?
I like the spicy. I like the sweet. I don't like as spicy as you, but I definitely like some spice.
Well, I'm not like super spice head.
Yeah, you kind of are.
Oh, well, that's fair enough, I guess. Yeah, but the Hot Damn That's Hot, it's even a little bit hot for like me. Mm-hmm. So I think you'd really enjoy it.
I'd definitely be willing to try it.
Mm-hmm. It'll become like your challenge sauce. That's what you'll put on your hot wings, and you'll make your friends eat it.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess, yeah, that'd be nice if I could get him to bottle it in like a super sweet bottle or something that doesn't say it's hot, and then just set it out with the wings and watch people just pour it on there, then see their face when it's just lighting them on fire.
I'll pitch that to him. Maybe start doing like prank bottles that say like not spicy at all, 100% straight sugar, or just like a bottle that just says hot damn it's ketchup, right?
Yeah. Yeah, no. Barbecue ketchup, and then on the back have like a disclaimer about how hot it is.
Sure. Call it all heat, no sweet. And then on the back, just be like, this is our April Fool's sauce, right?
Well, if it's all heat, no sweet, then I think they would know it was hot.
Wait, sorry, all sweet, no heat.
I want it to be insulting when they flip over the back, though. It like says, "No, never mind. I can't believe you're so dumb you bought that. Only an idiot would think that. Anyways, this is really hot." And then have the ingredients list. I had some fake.
Oh, we can just put "Oops, LOL" on the back.
My bad. Just that.
Yeah, but you got to throw the LOL in there. Like, I knew you were going to do this,
There you go.
My bad, LOL.
So I don't remember exactly where I got them, but I had some fake parking tickets, and they looked pretty legit. And they had spots where you could check and like write, and would stick to like a windshield. But then if you went down to the bottom and read it, it said something along to the effect like, "You're getting this parking ticket for being an idiot. Can't believe you'd sit there and think this was real." And kind of the fine print just all that.
Mm-hmm.
When my wife was in college, I stuck it on one of her roommates' car, and she was a lot older than her, but had gone back to college, so we didn't talk to her a lot. She came in one day and was just freaking out about this parking ticket she got, and I had stuck it on there, but she was like going ballistic because turns out where their rental house was in kind of an industrial area, so they'd park on the curb out front, and then sometimes parking enforcement would come by, see that car was parked there for a couple days, think it was just abandoned in an industrial area, slap a ticket on it. So she had to go down to City Hall and say, I live here, stop doing this, and kind of fill out a thing. 2 days later, I just randomly stick this fake one on there, not knowing. She went down to City Hall, lit these people up about parking ticket, screaming at them and stuff. Came back in and had it. And I was like, did you read the bottom of that? And I was a little afraid to like let her know that I'd stuck it on there as a joke.
Man, I wouldn't have said nothing.
She was kind of relieved, I think, but then pretty angry with me.
That is brutal. Brutal. I don't think I've ever pranked anybody in that way. You're kind of the prank master when it comes to that stuff.
A lot of my pranks, though, have turned out like they were kind of medium pranks, like fair to medium pranks, and then just through happenstance got kicked up to another notch. No fault of mine, you know.
Oh, I get what you're saying. So you're not wanting to take credit for it.
No, I was just, a lot of them were just right time, right place, and then powers unbeknownst to me brought it to another level. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no way, I had no idea she'd gotten this ticket, or you know, a real ticket, and I just randomly had these, like, oh, I'm gonna stick it on her car, that's gonna be funny. If I had known, I probably wouldn't have, but the fact that it worked out this way makes it tenfold better.
You know that after you left, that roommate looked at your future wife or bride-to-be and said, you're not going to marry that dude, are you?
I think it was that moment she knew she had to marry me. She's like, it doesn't get better than this.
It has to be that way. Is your wife into the pranks? Like, does she prank you?
No.
Does she enjoy your pranks when they're against other people?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
There's the factor.
Yeah, we all like seeing other people in like a medium amount of pain.
For sure. It makes you feel better about yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it definitely makes you feel better than them, which then makes you feel good about yourself.
Well, speaking of feeling...
You're not in that pain, so, you know.
Exactly. And speaking of feeling good about yourself, what did you do this morning?
Oh, I had to go to a search and rescue drill. It was actually pretty boring.
Really?
Ate at a pretty bad restaurant for breakfast and did that. Really wish I could have got out of it, but...
Did you get up in any snow or anything?
No. It was just a pure GPS exercise. It was all urban. We just had points that we had to find and convert lat longs to UTM and super boring GPS stuff.
If I were setting up something like that, I would put little Easter eggs, little prizes for people to find. Make it like a scavenger hunt.
Well, you've heard of geocaching, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, that's basically what that is. You go dig around the weeds and find an ammo box full of lame trinkets, and supposed to leave something and take something. And
at least it makes it interesting, though.
It does if you have children.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah, I've done it a couple times with my kids, and they're always hoping for quarters, but usually like a penny or dimes. But they always want to take almost everything, and I have to explain that we can only take one thing, but they find two things they really like. So then I'm trying to throw a handful of change in there to cover that,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And then you're throwing quarters in after they just took dimes, and they're like, hey, wait a minute.
Yeah, I'm losing money on this.
Yeah. That's cool, though. I mean, that sounds like it would be fun for somebody, just not you, because your FJ is just a little too built for that stuff, Yeah. It's like having their star pitcher come out only for the celebrity game.
Yeah, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
It's an exercise you have to do to kind of stay on top of your skill set. But if your skill set isn't dropping off very much in that aspect, then it's super boring. So it hasn't been that long since I've kind of boned up on those skills. So
good.
It's just not that fun.
Well, good, because I was able to break you out of this no fun cycle, because tonight you came up here and we went to the Mazama Dark Days Winter Ale Festival.
Yeah, and I am very glad I attended.
Oh, man, had a great time. Holy smokes.
I
So
wish
much
I
good
had
stuff.
gone in the past because everybody was talking about how much better this event was this year now that they've changed the way their cover fee and stuff worked.
Mm-hmm.
As I understand it, last year it was $15 to get in and you got 15 tickets for samples.
Five tickets.
5 tickets for samples.
Mm-hmm.
And then you purchased your beer that way and it was just packed, wall to wall, floor to ceiling.
Mm-hmm.
People were standing on other people's shoulders.
Yeah.
Coming in through the heating vents and stuff, trying to get a taste of beer.
Don't even ask for elbow room.
Yeah.
Like, we were just praying nobody farted in that place.
Whereas this year, which I wasn't there last year, but this year, me being there, it was busy, but there was plenty of room, and it wasn't, you could get a beer within a minute or two.
Mhm.
There was no line so long you wouldn't wait more than 2 minutes, I'd say. But they changed the cover charge to $30. You walked in, they handed you your own glass, and you just walked around and got beer put in it as you pleased.
Yeah, yeah. And $30, I mean, that sounds like a lot. I think that deterred a lot of people from coming. But when you figure out that you pretty much have unlimited tastings of all of this ultra rare, barrel aged, big dark
Small
beers.
batch, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that I drank $30 worth, but
You were also driving.
Yeah, I had to drive. I bet you drank $70 worth, though. So I feel like you kind of even it out for us.
I don't think I drank $70 worth, but I definitely got my money's worth. And by the way, I paid your way in.
Oh, I noticed.
So
yeah.
you definitely got your money's worth.
Yeah, you actually kind of lost on that because I'm pretty sure you could have Ubered back to your house for less than $30.
I disagree. I think it would have cost me more than that.
Okay, then I recant that statement. You got your money's worth.
I did get my money's worth. And it was worth it to me to pay for you to come down and check this out because it was your first time. You've never experienced this festival, but we both have a love for dark beers. And one thing that I realized tonight that I didn't really know, like I knew this about you, but I feel like you really explored it even more tonight, was your passion for like sour and wild ales.
Yeah, I didn't realize I liked sour. I thought I didn't like sour at all, but there were several sour beers that I did like tonight.
And a couple of wild beers.
There was that Abbott's Gone Wild and Nuns Gone Wild was the names of them, and man, both amazing beers, really good.
We were talking to the head brewer of Mazama, and he was talking about the Gone Wild series, and it's a yeast strain, a wild yeast strain that he has been propagating there at the brewery and trying to refine and really hone in on this flavor that he got from this wild yeast. And then those two beers were made from that wild yeast. And yeah, it was pretty incredible.
Yeah, the Nuns Gone Wild was just real. You could almost pass it off as a cider.
Mm-hmm.
I had a real nice tart. It was pretty sweet, not bitter at all. Really good.
And it didn't have any fruit in it, but
No.
it had a very not subtle fruitiness.
Yeah, no, that was a great beer. I would have liked to have bought a sixer of it, but
That sixer probably would have run you like $35.
yeah, that's why I didn't ask.
Yeah. None of this stuff is in any bottle or can or anything like that. It only comes in like half kegs and casks. That's the only way that you're getting any of these beers. But really, really incredible stuff.
I had another beer that I really liked. It's literally in my top 3 beers ever.
Really?
It might be in first place. It's been too long since I've had my favorite beer, the creme brulee, but it is on par with that beer.
That's the Southern Tier, right?
Yeah, Southern Tier creme brulee. It's once a year they kind of run it through, and I try to get in and buy a case of 6 or so bottles of it, and then ration it to myself over the next 4 days. You know how it goes. You're like, I'm going to save some of this for New Year's, and then 3 days later, you're like, crap, I wonder if there's any still at the store.
Yeah, exactly.
But it was a Level Beer is a brewery out of Portland, Oregon, and it's called the Fatality. It's a barrel-aged Imperial Stout, and just a roasty, toasty, marshmallow, vanilla. I wouldn't say creamy, but just smooth and delicious. I just loved it.
For sure.
And surprisingly delicious for almost 12% alcohol. Like, it was a strong beer.
It's a very strong beer. And you know what I was surprised by? There were a couple of beers on the list that I honestly thought that we were going to love. The Exo Novo Brewing Company, Kill the Sun, is another barrel-aged imperial stout that they had. Mm-hmm. That's 12.5% alcohol.
That's the one that I tasted and then poured into your taster, I believe.
You finished this one.
Did I finish that one?
Yeah, it was too coffee forward.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, it was really strong. It was a really complex flavor set, which I think we both really realized tonight that I don't like too complex. These are the flavors, and here they are.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. You'll do the complex, but when things start getting too bitter, you're not a bitter beer person.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah, that one was... I thought it would be good. Wasn't as good as I thought it would be. I tried mead for the first time tonight.
That's right. You did. You had a Nectar Creek mead.
Which I hear is a really, really kind of high-end mead.
Mm-hmm. And this particular one was barrel-aged as well. So as far as meads go, I mean, you're really in the top tier here. So what did you think of that one?
Meh. I mean, I don't... Like I said, it's first mead, so I didn't know what to expect, and it wasn't bad, but it wasn't amazing at all. It was, I wouldn't seek it out, but like I think I told you, if I was at a barbecue and somebody handed me this, I'd drink it. Like there's nothing wrong with it. It's just, nothing special about it. Nothing that was really making me want to go get another tasting.
Do you know how angry I would be if I were the one that brought this $12 a bottle mead to a barbecue, and I'm like rationing small pours to people because it's super rare and quite expensive, and I'm not going to be buying a whole bunch of this stuff, and then just have you like suck the shot down that I gave you and go, what'd you think? And you're just like, I mean, it was free, so I can't complain too much, but I certainly wouldn't spend my own money on it.
Well, can you imagine how angry I'd be if I'd tried it for the first time and bought a $12 16-ounce bottle and then was just like, meh?
That's a fair point. I'll grant you that one. The Nun's Gone Wild and Abbott's Gone Wild that Mazama made with that wild yeast that they've been working on, as well as the Level Beer Fatality, I think those were probably your top two. Am I wrong?
Oh, yeah. Those were just amazing.
Stickman Brewing Company also had something that I found really, really interesting, and I actually love their naming structure. They just called it Blend Number 3.
I like that.
Mm-hmm. It wasn't like super sourtopia, beerpocalypse, extravaganza, or any weird stuff like that. It's just straight up, which blend is it? It's number 3. Okay, that's blend number 3. Boom.
It kind of sounds better that way sometimes.
It does. It does.
I have this little thing at work. I do directional drilling, so all these drilling machines, there's all kinds of tooling bits you can get for them. So they send catalogs in, and you always look at them. And there's always, the names they put on these things are incredible. They'll always have, you'll look at it and be like, oh, that one's kind of looking, and it's like, the Angry Juggernaut with carbide cutting teeth. Like, all the names could be a superhero or super villain. I don't know why something needs to be called the Rock Slayer when when you could just call it, Rock Tooling Number 3, and I would be like, there's a picture, I would see it and know what I want. Like, it's not like you can put Rock Slayer on the side of this thing and other people are going to see it's going underground.
Sure. Extra, if you could just call it, extra duty cycle drill bit.
Yeah, no, that would be fine. So there's sometimes beer companies do a kind of that similar move where like, I'm just going to put this in my stomach. It doesn't need to end in Topia or Extravaganza or all these like crazy superhero names.
Expialidocious or anything like that. Yeah.
Just super hoppy number 1's fine.
And it's funny that we're talking about this right hot on the heels of a beer called Fatality.
Yeah. Fair,
you know what I mean?
Fair enough. But I mean, the brewing company is called Level Beer.
Well, this is also true.
Like that's just as plain. It's just a nice level beer.
All I'm saying is that the 3 beers that we've now talked about were Fatality, Kill the Sun, and then Blend Number 3.
Yeah, Kill the Sun. That's case in point.
But that blend number 3, I liked it a lot. It was very fruit forward. It was very tart though. I was wondering how you felt about it, because now that we've kind of figured out that you get down with the sours a little bit, that one was pretty darn sour.
It was, but it also had a lot of fruit going on in it. It had a kind of a prune blackberry thing going on, and maybe even some licorice kind of, and it was sour, but it still had some sweetness in there and that fruit. And I really enjoyed that beer. It was a good beer.
It was a dark ale though, and I don't normally see the dark sours. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, it was a new experience for me for sure. And I did enjoy it.
Was that barrel aged?
That one was in a Pinot Noir barrel aged. So yeah.
Yeah. Interesting.
Oh, actually, I'm reading here. Pinot Noir barrel aged and I don't know if I'm going to butcher this word. Akavit barrel aged black rye.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Yeah, it's AKVAVIT. There's not a lot of words that have two V's in them. I'm starting to feel like I'm reading a science fiction book. That's like a cuss word from the future.
Akvavit.
Like I smash my finger and just scream Akvavit.
Kafef.
Like I'm piloting a starship. Somebody starts shooting laser beams at me.
Yeah. Hamburger, yeah.
Yeah. Akvavit to the starboard side. Fire everything. Yeah, one of those moves.
I think that I only had one beer that I sent back. You had two. You had a beer where you really weren't into it, but I was okay with it, so you just poured your portion into mine. But we had one, it wasn't a beer, it was actually a cider that neither of us could put down because it was simply just too sweet.
It was too sweet and it was supposed to be a apple cider, but it tasted like a pineapple cider. And I hate to say it because Two Towns is kind of my jam. Like I love Two Towns cider. Mm-hmm. And this is probably the first Two Towns cider that I did not care for.
Well, it was their Nice and Naughty, which normally I am a huge, huge fan of the Nice and Naughty, but it was Kentucky bourbon barrel aged. I don't know if that added something more to it, but it just got really, really sweet, like surprisingly sweet.
Mm-hmm. I wanted to be a fan really bad, but I didn't care for it. Makes me kind of sad.
Well, there were a lot of other people there that were digging it. So, taste has a lot to do with it. You and I were a little bit older. We've been at this booze game a little bit longer. We have kind of our flavor profiles that we've already kind of figured out. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
We get surprised once in a while. You were surprised by a few of the sours and the wild ales on here.
I was. Which we tried almost everything that they had there. There's a couple that I didn't try. There was an IPA. I think it's well documented that I don't care for IPAs. I guess I'm not allowed to talk badly about IPAs anymore because people get violently angry and then write letters into the show explaining that I need to try these other ones because these other ones weren't the ones that I should have tried.
Yeah. And if you if you do try them and you don't like them, then you need to just eat a particular part of the human body.
Yeah. Like I'm just a broken individual if I don't like the world's sourest beer. But
I think you should feel justified because when we were talking to the head brewer at Mazama and you were like, yeah, I'm not an IPA fan. He was just like, yeah, no.
Yeah, that's the first time I've heard like a legit beer guy just be like, yeah, I'm not into IPAs.
Yeah, because Coy went into his typical rant where he was just like, I don't want to go into a tap house with 25 taps and 21 of the beers on tap are all IPAs. And Ryan, the head brewer, was just like, yeah, I'm 100% with you. 100% with you.
Yeah, it was a tiny slice of vindication that I've just been waiting for forever.
Yeah.
Every time I say that to like a beer snob, they start throwing like empty beer glasses at me.
Yeah, pretty much.
Start threatening to hurt themselves and stuff. Like,
well, because they can't hurt you.
Yeah, I'm sure they could, but they're like, see this glass? It has Mount Hood carved into the bottom of it. It's specially made so that the air bubbles come up, but I want to smash it. Because you don't like IPAs. Okay, but IPAs are fine. Like we love IPAs, just I don't love them in my mouth. I love them in your guys' mouth. That sounded weird. Just to be fair, I realize that sounded weird, but yeah, still. I love IPAs in your mouth.
Yeah, calm down, Jack Black from School of Rock.
My favorite IPA is the one you're drinking.
Mm-hmm. I have touched your IPA, and I'm pretty sure it's touched me too.
No, not me. Definitely not me.
And of course, Coy was nice enough to be DD for me. So what do when he comes back to the house and he's hungry? We fry him up some bacon and eggs.
Duck eggs, baby. Oh, it's been a long time since I had duck eggs, to be fair.
Fried duck eggs, yeah?
Brings me back to my childhood.
I didn't know you were such a big fan of duck eggs until this has been a few episodes back, but you talked about how duck eggs are the ultimate in egg technology.
They are. I mean, if we're going to stop talking about beer, let's talk about duck eggs. I have thoughts. They're better at everything. Well, not everything. Chicken eggs do peel better after you boil them.
Also, duck egg whites do not foam, froth. They don't build up into a meringue the way chicken egg whites do.
So you can't make meringue with them?
Right. And you can't make like fluffy pancakes by whipping the egg whites.
See, that's interesting because my grandma used to make angel food cakes out of my duck eggs.
Really?
Yeah. Which she talked about how much better it was for angel food cake, but I never really asked how she did it. So now I'm wondering if there's some secret.
Maybe she just stirred the egg whites a whole bunch longer than I had.
It's possible. Yeah, no, duck eggs, they're just so much better. Like, I wish everybody would try one. They're bigger, number one.
Mm-hmm.
And who doesn't want a bigger fried egg?
No, that's true. That is true.
Like, have you ever had a fried egg and been like, oh, this fried egg was just too much for me? No, you're like, I wish I had 3 instead of 2, but I don't want to ask for a third.
And then we also made you some bacon.
That's some of the best bacon I've ever had.
Yeah. That was the Pfluger bacon from JC Pfluger. Had him on the show a few episodes ago on Pardon My Fork. And we were fortunate enough to get a Christmas care package from JC, which we very much appreciate. But I've been hanging on to that bacon. You know, we sliced you off a little bit. I'm still trying to hold on to it because I have a recipe that I want to use the rest of that bacon in. But we cut you off 4 slices. That was his prototype truffle bacon.
It's good. It's really good. The first piece I had was pretty much just all meat, and it was good. I'm like, oh, it's good bacon. Then I grabbed that second piece, which had a big chunk of fat on it, and bit into it, and it was just like a delicious, smoky explosion in my mouth, and I was floored. It was really good bacon.
Yeah, it's pretty wild how good that stuff is. I mean, really, honestly, his black pepper bacon, some of the best bacon I've ever had, but that truffle bacon, holy smokes, I cannot wait for him to start producing that. It's really, really good stuff.
Yeah, I have no doubt that he will sell that. I mean, it was amazing. And then eating it with duck eggs, of course, is just a slam dunk.
So the recipe that I've been hanging on to it for is I want to bone out one of our ducks and just have the meat by itself, right? I'm going to do a rough chop, and I'm going to make duck patties for burgers. So we're going to do a duck patty burger with that Pfluger's truffle bacon and then a fried duck egg on top.
Are we going to do the bacon, like bacon ground into the burger, or just bacon as in classic bacon cheeseburger?
Classic bacon cheeseburger slices.
Okay, there's either way. There's no way you could go wrong. But I say my favorite thing with actually eating duck is it smokes so well. Mm-hmm. Smoked duck is just, if you haven't had it, it's hard to explain how good it is. So I don't know. I think you should maybe smoke the daylights out of that patty and then grill it.
You think so, huh?
I think you got to hit it with some of that classic smoke. That's just, for me, when I think of eating duck, I think of that smoke.
Well, I'll just slow grill it on our wood-fired grill.
Yeah, that should work.
Mm-hmm. That'll add that element of smoke and char on it.
Yeah.
Probably end up putting a little bit of bacon fat into the mix when I'm doing the duck, simply because the duck that we have is pretty lean, and I need a little bit of that extra fat just to act as a binder and a moisturizer.
Yeah, you'll definitely need to add some fat just to make it cook well.
Mm-hmm. And we're not grinding it. I
don't know that I would use the bacon fat though.
No?
I think I would, because everybody always talks about these burgers. Oh, it's 30% bacon. And then you cook it, and then you try and put your regular bacon strips on. I've never been a huge fan of that. It just makes your burger taste like bacon, and you'll lose all the flavor out of the burger that you had. And then since it already kind of tastes like the bacon that you add on top, I don't know. I prefer to have the bacon and then whatever flavor of meat you're using.
I think that's a fair critique. I was hoping to get just a little bit of that smokiness from the bacon fat, but I get what you're saying.
Yeah, nope. I would throw it on the pellet grill
Mhm.
and get your smoke that way, and then throw your bacon on top, so you have two smoke flavors basically. I would probably just use a regular pork rather than a bacon fat.
Really? Just cuts of the fat?
Yeah, I think that's what I do. Just find some chops to pull some fat off, or loin or whatever you have. You usually have quite a bit of pork around the house, so.
Speaking of pellet grills, I don't have a pellet grill, but I gotta say, Pit Boss just released this new pellet grill, and it looks to me like it's a little bit of their mid-range, middle of the range. It's not huge. It's not just like a massive smoker, but it certainly looks like it'll get the job done. It's called the Pit Boss Whiskey Still, and it is so cool looking. Let me pull it up on the monitor here. What do you think of that?
Yeah, it's a wood pellet vertical smoker. It just looks beefy. I mean, it's got the wheels and the legs, but those legs aren't just the standard sheet metal angle iron. They're tubular, and everything's round. I like that, man. It looks really good.
Yeah, the pellet hopper is round. The body is round. It's very cool looking.
Yeah, if you really care about looks, this is one of the best vertical smokers I've ever seen. Just looks wise. I like the copper tones, black and copper. It looks really nice.
And I mean, everybody knows that I'm a huge fan of the Copperhead series smokers that Pit Boss makes, but this aesthetically is very cool looking.
As far as vertical smokers go, this is pretty much the best looking one I've ever seen. It aesthetically looks really cool.
It's not the biggest. I think I already said that. It holds 15 pounds of pellets. So if you're smoking at like 225, that's going to be good for around 7 hours.
That'll get most everything you need done.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And if not, in that 7 hours, I think you can carve out some time to refill your pellets.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
It's got porcelain coated racks, 3 racks. Yeah, 150 to 375. So it's not as hot as it could be, but 150 is nice and low.
It is a vertical smoker. I wouldn't really expect it to get up that much higher.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, it has an included meat probe. Nice. What's the price on this bad boy?
It's not a bad price at all. I feel like it's very entry level. It comes in at $350.
That's actually not a bad price. I've been eyeballing one at my local, I don't know, Bi-Mart. They're kind of a hardware store, and it's on sale for like $217. It's just kind of an older. It is a pellet style one, but I'm basically just eyeballing it because I have a big gift card there.
Mm-hmm.
Been thinking about picking it up, but I mean, this is barely a little over $100 more, and man, it looks a lot better.
And that 5-year warranty at that price point, it makes it very tempting.
And I know Pit Boss is sold at Lowe's, and I think Walmart has some Pit Bosses.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're kind of a big box store brand, but they're good stuff. I mean, I got no problems with Pit Boss.
Well, I mean, Traeger, dad and son team, recently joined the Pit Boss team. So, I mean, they now have the original founder of the Traeger Grill Company coming along with the Pit Boss name. So we have to anticipate the quality and the design of their grills to go up exponentially.
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, the Traegers have been building pellet grills since they may have invented pellet grills. I mean, around here, they've been the longest known name for pellet grills.
Just about anywhere, when someone says, I have a pellet grill, they first say, I have a Traeger.
Yeah. Yep.
It's sort of like Band-Aid or Kleenex.
Yeah. The brand name has become the actual product name.
Yeah, exactly. But I don't know, man. I mean, Pit Boss, they just seem like they've had one hit after the other. And this thing looks really, really good. I'm honestly really surprised by it.
Man, I was seriously about to pull the trigger on this other one, but for this price difference, it just looks so much better aesthetically. And I know that doesn't make too much difference, but the thing's going to be living on your back porch and it's the size of a large dog. I mean, it's nice if it looks good.
Yeah, for sure. And something like this, because it has kind of those thicker, heavier duty legs, I almost feel like you'd be able to make a platform for it if you wanted to get it up a little higher.
You probably could, but I mean, that is the other thing I like about it is it looks super stable. Mm-hmm. The wheels on it, I'm neither here nor there on wheels. When I stick it up there, I'm going to put it and leave it, but yeah, it looks real solid.
Yeah, very impressive stuff from Pit Boss. Very impressive. I need to go over to Lowe's and see if someone has assembled one of these yet so that I can take a look at it.
Well, I was at Lowe's the other day buying thousands of dollars worth of house stuff that I didn't want to buy, but had to. Turns out windows are super expensive. You don't really realize that.
It's funny how that works.
Until you're buying 20 of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And just to soothe my wounds, I went ahead and rolled through the barbecuers and all that. And this wasn't there last week. So I think this is kind of straight off the shelf. I mean, it's new to the market.
Yeah, it is brand spanking new. And something like this is a little bit highly specialized. Oh, you know what? I bet Coastal Farm would be a good place to check it out.
Yeah, they probably have it.
Yeah.
If it's available.
The last time I was in Coastal Farms, I noticed that they had the full lineup of Pit Boss grills. They had the Copperhead Vertical Series, the 3, the 5, the 7. They had all of the Pit Boss grills, all assembled, all lined up. It was pretty impressive to see, actually.
Yeah, and I want everybody to know that we're not paid or anything by Coastal Farm or Lowe's.
Yeah, or Pit Boss.
Yeah, and I despise those people that would be paid by them. Anyways, you should buy a Pit Boss.
And if Pit Boss happens to be listening to this episode, I want them to go ahead and just, contact me as a point of reference,
Yeah, exactly. I would never take money from Pit Boss, but if you are going to buy a grill, buy a highly functional Pit Boss with a 5-year warranty.
Listen, man, in all seriousness, for the price and for the warranty, I just don't know how you beat it, honestly.
Yeah. What's really digging me is the aesthetics. I mean, the function on all these is pretty similar. I mean, of course, a lot of the higher competition end of things are going to have 2 or 3 meat probes, and some of them have a burner, extra burners and whatnot. But for the price and the way they look, I love that copper look. I mean, it just looks good. And it's not for everybody's back porch, depending on what kind of look you're going for. They just look sharp.
Yeah, the one that I just can't seem to take my eyes off of is the Copperhead 7 Series Vertical. I mean, if I was going to go out and buy a pellet grill right now, this isn't a grill, it's a smoker. But if I were to run out and get one right now, that would be right up on top of my list, honestly. Because at $5.99 for this monster of a grill, it's huge inside. It's 9 cubic feet inside.
I don't know that you could smoke a horse, but you could for sure smoke a pony. Like, there's no doubt in my mind.
For sure, dude, for sure.
It is a massive smoker.
And with a 40-pound
which is insane.
Hopper,
40 pounds. I don't even, that's a ridiculous amount of pellets. You're going to be refilling this thing every 3 weeks. Like,
for real.
And you're going to be using it like around the clock.
What I love about it is if you're rolling 250 degrees and you have that hopper completely filled, you're going to be able to smoke for like 40 hours straight.
That's literally a work week.
I know, right?
That's ridiculous.
It's so incredible. And it's just a monster inside. It's over 2,000 square feet, 2,000 square inches of surface area. I was going to say
that's bigger than my house, so I don't think it's that big, but yeah.
Well, I was going to edit that part, but
no, you're not.
And it's got the ability to go up to 475 degrees. So you can roast. You can't exactly broil, but you can roast inside of this thing. Like, tell me how crazy I am for wanting one of these.
There's no reason anybody should not want one of these unless they like live in an apartment where there's massive space constrictions. It's amazing. It's massive. It holds 40 pounds of pellets. That's 2 20-pound sacks. That's a lot.
And I like that they thought ahead too. There is a door on the bottom that you can open and dump out any remaining pellets.
In case you want to change flavors, yeah.
Exactly. Tell me that's not genius.
No, that's great. And honestly, there's nothing not to like about these unless you literally just don't want one this big. It's amazing.
We're looking at the pictures of it, and it's just, yeah, it's unbelievably huge. But again, if you have space constraints, you can get all of these features on the 3 Series. Obviously, the pellet hopper is smaller, but all of the electronics are the same.
And I have to say, if you do get this 7 Series and you do fill it up with 40 pounds of pellets, and you decide, you know what, the Applewood's good, but I need cherry for what I'm about to do here. Get a big bucket when you go to dump those things. All the pictures of people dumping pellets on this thing, it shows them with like a 1-gallon pail. I don't know how many pounds of pellets will fit in a 1-gallon pail, but I'm quite certain it's not 40 pounds. Pellets, while they maybe not be expensive, they don't do a lot of good on the ground. I'm just saying, get a big bucket. or 2 or something.
Well, listen, man, I have been rolling smoke on 12 briskets at a time, nonstop, for the last 4 days. Okay. Yeah. Now I have to change pellets. So I have the little 1 pound bucket, and I'll just dump out the little bit of pellets that I have left.
Well, you should only have about 10 pounds of pellets left by my math.
It's pretty wild stuff. Of course, the regular grills are good stuff. However, this is where it gets a little more tricky for me. If I was going to go with a regular pellet grill, that's where I would get a little bit more picky about what I'm going to get. Not that Pit Boss isn't picky, when I'm looking at them, but see, I have a special place in my heart for vertical grills or vertical smokers. I don't think everybody feels the way that I do, because I have gotten some resistance from people when I talk about vertical smokers. Not everybody's into it. A lot of people feel like a smoker should be that classic offset style or a reverse flow style where you're lighting your fire in the side. And don't get me wrong, all of my grills are fire powered right now. They're all wood. I got to go underneath, light them, start them, either charcoal or wood. So I totally get that. But that might be part of the reason why when I think pellet smokers, I go for the vertical ones.
Could be. I've always liked the vertical styles too, but I also love pellet grills.
It's really hard to go wrong. Now, if I were going to do a regular grill style, like I'm looking to legit grill, it would be hard to go wrong with the Grilla grills.
Ooh, I like the Grilla grills. I like those. I like weird grills. I'm not gonna lie. I like the smaller, rounder, kind of odd grills, not the classic Traeger looking grill.
And he is saying grills, Grill, not girls, grills.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. I like weird grills, not the classic grills. I don't know why, but Grilla's original grill is this R2D2 flower pot looking thing, and it just looks awesome, and I'm sure it works great. And I prefer the smaller grills. These big massive Traeger grills are great for competitions and when you have a massive barbecue, but honestly 90% of your grilling is probably for 4 people at most. Right. It's for you and your immediate family, so you don't need to do 26 burgers at once. So I always I err on the side of small, to be honest, and I like those smaller ones.
And then when you start looking at these vertical smokers, let's say, for example, you wanted to do a smoked pizza. I think that a lot of our listeners have tried putting a pizza on the grill. And if you haven't tried putting a pizza on the grill, you need to run out and do it right now, because it's the most incredible thing in the world.
I thought you were going to tell them to run out and play in the road right now if they hadn't tried it.
No, I'm nice to the listeners, not like you.
Okay.
This is why we limit Koi's exposure to the fine people.
If you haven't had a smoked pizza, you're a sad human. I mean, it's a sad existence that you live where you have not had a wood smoked pizza.
Anyways, so let's say, for example, you had one of the Copperhead 7 from Pit Boss. You could do 4 or 5 pizzas because it's got those racks, and they could all be 15-inch pizzas, 16-inch pizzas, right? But if you have a grill in the traditional style like a Traeger, unless you have multiple racks that you've built inside, you're doing 1 pizza at a time.
That's true. I've never seen somebody do a pizza on a vertical smoker, but now I want to see it.
Well, and especially with that vertical smoker from Pit Boss going up to 475 degrees.
Yeah, there's no reason you couldn't cook a pizza in that.
Pizza, cookies, a roast, a turkey at 350 degrees. There's really no reason you couldn't do any of it.
Now, to be fair, I've never had smoked cookies. Is that a thing? Like, have you done that?
Yeah, it's a thing, and it's delicious.
It's good. What flavor of smoke do you roll on your cookies?
Applewood.
Apple. I would have guessed cherry or pecan, to be honest.
Now, to be fair, they did already have bacon in them. They were a chocolate chip and bacon chunk cookie.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And, I was thinking that was weird for a second, but now we're back on brand.
Yeah, no, I brought you back around. Yeah.
I was like, wow, Andy's not in the little box that I had in my mind for him. And then I was like, oh, no, he's still in there. It's okay.
Yeah, I had carved out a little alcove for myself, but it's still there. Yeah. All right, Koi. Hey, it's been an incredible day, an incredible experience. I really appreciate you coming along for the ride, and hopefully you had a good time.
Oh, I had a great time.
Tasted some good beers.
A lot of good beer.
Do you feel like you've kind of expanded your palate today? Kind of opened your mind?
I honestly do. Yeah.
Can we maybe look at some sour beers in the future for you?
I'll look at sour beers, not bitter.
No, not bitter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've crossed that bridge and I'm not going back. But yeah, no, I thought I didn't like sour beers, but apparently there's some I've been missing out on. So I'm definitely going to be looking into those a little bit more.
Nice, dude. I like that. Food for thought and knowledge for life, even when it comes to the host.
Yeah. No, I'm not afraid to try a new way to get drunk. In fact, that's what makes me the hero that I am.
And on that note, I think we should go ahead and cut it loose. BoostBoozBBQ.com is where you're going to find not just this episode, but all of the episodes. And of course, Spotify, SoundCloud, Podbean, iTunes, anywhere that you find any of your other quality podcasts, that's where you can find us. Send us a like, send us a review. We always appreciate it, and we will be randomly selecting reviewers of our podcast on iTunes to win a free t-shirt. So go out there, throw us a like and a review, and you may be a lucky winner. Coy, thanks a lot for coming along.
Andy, thanks for having me.
Oh, and don't forget to check out what Coy's doing on Instagram. At Overlandia Podcast is where you can find him. He's got a bunch of fun stuff going on. Lots of funny photos. If you're an overland or off-road person, you definitely have to go and check him out. So, for Coy, this is Andy. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for telling a friend, and we will see you next time. Boost, Booze, and Barbecue.